Well, hello, Hans Herr. This is Dr. Smecker, and I just wanted to get started today by talking a little bit about recess and just giving you a few reminders. So, if I could have your attention for just a few minutes, I promise this will be brief. It's just two slides. There are just some things I would like to go over. So first and foremost, I just want to tell you that I've been out to a lot of recesses and been watching, and overall, I think everybody is doing a really, really great job. I want to give you a couple of reminders regarding rubber surface recess and then blacktop and grass recess. So the first thing that I want to talk about on rubber surface recess is I want to make sure when it's your time to be there that we're staying on the actual rubber surface. What we don't want to have happen is for that recess to start to creep out into the grass and to other areas. So when it is your turn to be on the rubber surface, I'd like you to stay on the rubber surface area. Um, when you are there, I do see a lot of tag games and running around on the rubber surface. I think tag games are better for when you have blacktop and grass recess, where you have more area to run around. So I think when you're on the rubber surface, it is better if you're just playing on the equipment. So we're going to ask that any type of tag games or games that require really fast running around, please save those for the blacktop and grass areas. We want to also keep our playground equipment away from the rubber surface and the patio. So, balls and jump ropes and things like that. Please keep those for your blacktop and grass recess. The rubber surface is just not safe to have balls flying around if people aren't aware or expecting them. The other thing I want to tell you to do is just really be careful with the disc swing. That's the one where three or four people sometimes will sit on the big disc. What I see there is we get kids pushing it from both sides, and that can get pretty dangerous. So I think if I could tell you and ask you to just push that from one side, we've seen quite a bit of injuries from that one. So we just want to be careful there. It's okay to be on the patio if you want to be on the patio during your rubber surface recess, that's fine. But the patio is a place to kind of hang out. It's not really a place to run around. It's not a place to be using equipment, but you are welcome to be there. And then the last thing, you are free to use outside voices, have fun, be loud, but please no screaming. We've had some kiddos just screaming at the top of their lungs, and I think it makes the adults think that something is wrong when really there's not. So if you could just refrain from screaming at the top of your lungs, really at either recess, but I've noticed it especially at the rubber surface. So just a couple of reminders, and then blacktop and grass. Please continue. You've been doing a really nice job, like you see in the picture on the left there, of walking up and down the sidewalk area. We really appreciate not cutting through the grass there or cutting across the rubber surface, especially when you're coming out. In terms of the Gaga pit, one thing that we want to do is we want to really try to limit that to 12 players at the start. That should be the maximum number of students in there at one time, and that's for two reasons. One, so that everybody is getting a chance to participate, and two, for your safety. When we get more than 12 kids in there, it can get pretty unsafe. The new basketball court is really, really cool. One of the things that I've noticed is I see a lot of full court basketball being played. And I'm not sure that we're always ready for full court basketball, especially if you're playing with lots and lots of kids. I see a lot of physical contact. I see a lot of fouling going on. And what we're going to encourage you to do instead of trying to play full court basketball games, try playing knockout, try playing horse around the world. Mr. Valenza is going to go over some of these basketball types of games. We'd rather see you playing those on the courts for two reasons. Again, reason number one is your safety. I see kids running up and back and bumping in and knocking into each other. And then two, when I'm watching full court basketball, I see that oftentimes there's a lot of kids who aren't really getting a chance to get the ball. So We want everybody to be able to participate. You can divide the court in half, so you can have more kids involved, and you can have 2 games of knockout going. You can have 2 games of horse going, or you can have 2 games of around the world going, because you have 2 baskets there. So let's try to use that space and be safe and get everybody involved. Lastly, I noticed there's some kids under the trees a lot. That is fine. It's been very, very dry, so that dirt does kick up a lot of dust. And I've seen some kids picking it up and throwing it. Um, so I would ask you to try to not kick that dirt up and make all that dust. And certainly you shouldn't be picking it up and throwing it. And then when it gets wet, it can get a little muddy under there. So for now, it's okay to be under the trees. If you are on the blacktop and grass recess, that's kind of your area there. That's fine. I know on the sunny days or the warm days, it's nice to go under there for the shade, but just want to make sure you're not kicking up dirt. So, boys and girls, thank you again. You've been doing a really nice job out on the playground. I want everybody to have fun, but I just want to make sure that we're all safe so we can make sure we're not sending people to the nurse and things like that, because we don't want anybody getting hurt. We want you to be safe, but we also want you to have fun. So, all right. Hopefully, you have a great rest of your week, and thanks for listening.